Hi, I'm Sue Boo, bringing crafting to you, and today we're going to carry on with the mini album. This was my prototype, and we're going to make the shutter card. So that's what I'm going to make today. I've said I was swapping that around, so I haven't made that yet, so don't worry, you haven't missed anything. Right, so yesterday I hadn't quite finished putting the papers on, so I have cut out my baby and put that on, and I'm going to put some Wink Castilla on there. And we did the waterfall yesterday, and now we have got the papers completely on this side, and then the papers completely on this side as well. And also I finished off the back as well. So I'm just going to give you those measurements. So the measurements for the paper is 4 3/16 by 3 3/4. So you will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll need 6 of those to complete your papers. I've just put a bow, some ribbon on my card, and I might do some stamping on here as well at a later date. So I've not trimmed my ribbon down. I've found that actually if you lift up the album it just sits under there, so I'm leaving that for the moment. The back, I have put the ribbon on and the back, so my back piece is 6 3/8 by 3 3/4, and then my DSP is 6 2/8 by 3 5/8. So that is it so far, and today, as I say, we're going to make the shutter card. So we're going to start off with a piece. I'm using Seaside foam, and it's the length of a A4, not the length, the width, sorry, of an A4 sheet of paper, and the width of it is 3 5/8. And then you're going to score this at 2 1/8, rotate it and score it again at 2 1/8. So when you do this, crease down one side and then bend in the second to meet, and hold that and crease down the second side. So we're going to get good creases on that. Now we've got the panel pieces, and I've used Very Vanilla for these panel pieces. So you will need 4 that measure 1 15/16 by 3 1/2. So you'll need 4 of those. So I'm just going to go round now and just make sure that all the edges are completely flat. So we'll just get those completely done. So that's 1. That's 2, 3, and there's my 4th one. So just quickly do those. Just making sure nice and flat. Okay, and then the DSP, I've chosen to go same as the background paper that I'm going to put it on its page, and that is 1 and 1, 2, yeah, 13/16. So that's 1 13/16 by 3 3/8, and you will need 4 of those pieces of paper. So I'm now going to mount my DSP on top of my 4 panel pieces. So there we go. So just make sure you've got a nice equal increment all the way round. That's one done. As I say, normally I do a lot of preparing, and you will normally see like these mounted, but there's such a lot of work in this album that gluing all the papers on ahead of time, I just didn't have time to do, so you'll have to bear with me and we'll do it as we go. Okay, shouldn't take too long. So just bring that back. So bringing that round and equal increment. And then the last bit on there. Okay, so now we're going to glue these to our gates. So I'm just going to have a look which ones I prefer. I think it doesn't really matter. I think they're about the same, so doesn't really matter, so I'll use these. So we're just going to make sure that we have an equal increment again. So on the front, so bring that down, just put equal increment there, and then the other side. Leave it on its side, bringing that one there. Just make sure it's nice and even, and then open it up, and these two are for the inner bits. Now you'll need to have got, because it's going to be a baby photograph that will be in here, I will not be able to finish it off completely as I haven't got the baby photograph yet. So I'll just... Okay, and then that's on there like that, just make sure that's equal. Right, the back piece now. The back piece measures 3.5 by 4. So put the back piece going down. So put the back piece going there with equal increments. I'm just going to go over that. Ensure that that's nice and creased down. Okay, now you will need 2 pieces. Now I've not done a piece for the back, I've realised, so I'll have to just cut another piece for the back. So if this measures this measures, the width of it well, I'll do the actual length of it. So the length was 3.5, so I will take this to 3 and just double check, measure twice and cut once. So that is 3.5, so I will take that down to 3 3/8. So I'm just going to put this down to 3 3/8 and cut. So that's 3 3/8, and then the width of it, because this measures 4 inches, I will take that to 3 7/8. So I always just do it 1/8 of an inch smaller, and then it just gives you that little bit of an increment all the way round. Not too much, but just a little bit. So sorry about that. I thought I'd cut all my pieces and I was ready, and just got that one to cut. Okay. Oops. Okay, make sure you've have it the right way, and then put that down with equal increments. Now you'll need 2 pieces for the mechanism, and they are 3.5 by 2 1/8, and you're going to score them just on one side at 1/2 inch. So you need 2 of those. So I'm just going to burnish these now so that they're burnished. Right, now we just need to put a pencil mark to find the halfway point. So I'm going to do this about halfway. Oh, I'll do it a little bit higher up. So I'm going to just put, because this is 2 1/8, that will be 1 1/16. So just at 1 1/16, just going to put a little mark so we know that that is halfway. And then I'm going to measure down, check my notes, from the actual score mark. I'm going to measure 2 1/8. So there's the centre. So 2 1/8. That doesn't look big enough. So we will see. Right. That might not be long enough. Let's see. Let's measure again. 2 1/8. I think it's more likely to be from the top. Sorry. 2 1/8. Let's go again for 2 1/8, and I'll measure it right from the top. So that looks, say, let me see. So the mechanism fits in like this, and we don't want them to cut. So we'll try the bottom line first, and I will see if I need to take it higher up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my sharp scissors, is where I have put that, well, I put the bottom one, I'm going to go in from the corner to that point there and do it the same on the other side. So you're just meeting, so you have like a banner bottom. So I'm just going to bring in my other one and just open it up and just double check. Is that? No, that's not going to be big enough. So I'm going to take it up to the next line. So I'll just put that in there, go up to the next line, up to there. and have another look. That is better. Okay, that's better. So what I sometimes do is round this out. So I'll show you what I do. Now I'm going to take off that mark that I put up there because that might show. As long as you've done it faintly, you'll be fine. And all you do is just put this on top of the other one. So you've now got a template, and you're just going to cut exactly the same. So I'm just going to cut right to the middle, and then just make sure it's exactly in position, and just cut up to the middle again. Okay, there we go. Right, now I don't put these down yet. I've got them ready in position, but I'm not going to put them down yet. So our next piece that we've got is, for the centre bit, it's 3 inches by 3 5/8, and our DSP is 3.5 by 2 7/8. Now we're just going to glue the DSP. Now be careful if you've got a directional paper. I haven't, so I'm all right on this one. I thought I'd just do it a contrasting colour. Just going to pop that there. Just make sure it's got an equal increment all the way round. That's it. Just put that down. Okay, I'm just going to put my pin in my glue. Now, from the stitched shape framelets, I am using the smallest. I'm sure it is the smallest. I'll just check for you to make sure it was. Yes, it is. So I'm using the smallest die, and I'm going to place this in the middle of my card with the DSP on. I'm going to use my mini now. So I'm getting my plates out. So you need plate number 1 and 2 of the 2 plates. And I'm just going to sit this. Now this works wonderful because see this mini card, it just fits perfectly because my cardstock is shorter than the cutting blades. So I'm going to pop this in the middle of my, let's see, I'll just pop that at the edge. So I'm going to make this as close as I can to the middle. So I'm even going to, at this point, just see, that's about 3/4 of an inch. That was about, let's have a look, try again. That's about 3/4 of an inch. Sorry for the camera wobble. That's about 3/4 of an inch. Just pop one last time. Slightly nudge it that way. Okay, so hopefully that's going to hold in place. Doesn't matter if I've got it slightly higher than lower, that will be fine, as long as we've got it from left and right to be central as possible. So I'm going to take this through. Come on. Oh, I've got my plates right. Stick it in the other way then. That's it. There we go. Now, because I've got it going through paper and card, I'm just going to go through it a couple of times so that it cuts through, and I'll just double check that it has completely cut through. Yes, it has. It's completely cut through. So I have got that. Oh, not happy with that. I've got some black marks from my plates are not as clean. I ought to have used brand new plates, but it's coming off with the rub. So it will just be the glue from the bottom, and I'm not going to worry too much, because if you have problems, it only gives you more ability to be more creative to solve your problem. Right, so what you will do then is you will need to use the second square up to have a let's see if I've got a scrap of card, because I'm not going to put this bit now together because of showing you. I'm just going to show you, but it won't be as I am actually going to do it today, because as I say, I'm waiting for the photograph. So you'll need a piece of white cardstock, and as I say, it's the second square up in the stitch framelets. And then we're going to run this through the die cutting machine as well. Now, a trick if your plates are getting dirty. I've just put my plates down. Where have I put them now? Oh, there. So if your plates are getting very dirty, you could either give them a scrub under the tap, or when you place your die and your card down, you can use just a piece of photocopy paper over the top. I'm just going to rip off this here, and you can protect your card. So now when I take this through my die cutting machine, that will protect my card, so I don't get any of those marks on them. So there you go. So that's a tip for you to, if your plates are and you haven't got any new ones. I've got plenty of new ones, but I use them sparingly because I craft such a lot that I want to keep them for a while longer. Right, so what you do is you would position your stamped image if you were going to stamp, but as I say, I want to photograph in this. You position this in the centre, so that would have the photograph on, and you would then stick these two on, which we can do now, but I'm going to make sure that you position your top piece in the middle so that you've got an equal increment either side. This is going to go on here, and this will go over there like that. So I like to see the position that I want my mechanism to be. So that will not now, that will show some of my blue. On this one, as you can see, it completely reveals the circle. Now what I did to achieve that is I went back in, once I got the rough, I went back in and started to take a little bit out and rounded it so that it takes more of that bit out. And then I go back in and look where it goes. Put that in your position. So you want to make sure that that underneath is in position, and then put this in position. I'll show you a bit clearer in a minute when I've got it in position. So what I'm looking at is I'm putting this on just before that fold. So this is going to be just before that fold. You're going to bend that over. Make sure that this is in the right position. So we can actually stick this down. So that's what I'm going to do to show you better, because that nearly is about right, I think. I'll just make sure that we're getting equal distances either side that I'll just have to bend down and look. Yes, I think that's about right. Okay, so I think that this is about right. So again, I'm going to use that as my template. I'm going to go back in. Let's do it over that way. See, that way. Let's put it, I'll mirror image them. So mirror image them. So that's the top part, that's the top part, and I'm putting the two top parts together, making sure that they're level with the score line, and I'm going to use that to cut out again that little bit there. Okay, and if you're not happy, just go in and smooth it round. So I'm just smoothing it round now so that that gives me a better surface there. Right, now we'll ignore the white piece for the moment. We're just going to concentrate on where these two are. So I am going to look again to make sure that this is in the correct place that I want it, so that it's got an equal increment between this side and that. So that's what I'm looking at, and that this is about in right position. I'm fairly confident now that that is. So what I'm going to do is, like I normally do, this is the tape that is really super strong, and I'm putting that right up against the fold line. So it's going right up against the fold line, and I'm going to cut that off. I'm then going to burnish that down, because it's easier if you burnish it down, and then take this off, and then we'll go back in and put some glue there. Right, I think actually I did it from the edge of my card. So I'm going to bend this round, but it's not going to touch down. Okay, so I'm holding it, I'm hovering it, making sure that I've got this the right way that I want it. So I think it's that way. Put it equal increments as best you can, and actually I'm going to do it over the top. So I'm getting that in position, and I'm just seeing as that comes down whether that will touch the circle, and I think that's about right. Let's hold that still, do that about there. I think that's right, so I'm just going to bring that back to make sure that this is level now, and I'll show you where I've stuck it. So the edge of my card, I've stuck it along the edge of my card. Rather than it being where the crease is, I've stuck it at the edge of the card. So again, I'm just going to place this over the top, and I can still see now. I'll just double check the bottom. That works better that way actually. So I think I'm going to go for that way, and we're going to just test the same again. So exactly the same is I'm going to put my tape, my strong tape, on there just below that score line, cut it off, burnish it down, and then take the top layer off, put some glue on there, right, I'm just going to bend that in, I'm just going to get it level with this now, so that's about level. I'm going to match it to the bottom, to the bottom there. So I've got that, So that won't that move any at all. Just really seal it down. So we're going to seal those two down. And so once they're in position and overlapping one another, that will go on the top without them really showing very much. So there's just a little bit, a fraction on this one. So I'm just going to go back in and I'm just going to take a slight bit off to see whether that has done it. So I'm going to keep going back in to see, making sure that this has an equal increment, it's level with the top and the bottom, and that now is showing that my peekaboo is, you're going to completely be able to see it. So when that closes up like that, you won't be able to see the image. The image will be covered over, and when you open it up, it will be correct. Now, I would normally either stamp an image on this to make a shutter card. As I say, I want to put a baby picture in there and the baby's not born yet. So I will wait to put a baby picture on there, and then I will glue this down in position, making sure that it's equal top and bottom and at the side like that, and the baby's picture will be in the middle of the photograph. So you will put it in the middle, that will cover over, and then the top will go on, and you will just glue the very edge of the top and the bottom, only the slight bit. If I can show you how thin my tape is, that tape will be perfect. I just only want that tiny bit. So I'll go ahead and actually stick this on here, so it will be that tiny bit right up against the edges of this piece. And again, this will go right up against the edge, and that is enough. That's all you need. Okay, as I say, I'm not going to finish this one because I want to put the baby's picture in there, but as you can see, so that is how I will stick it there and there. But I will have first stuck the baby's picture on here, and that will be in the middle. Then those two will fold. That will go on the top. Making sure that there's an equal increment either side. And then if I can just try and hold the bottom and the top so that I can shut the card fully, and that will be how the card shuts. And when you open the card, it will reveal the image. So I'll just show you again on the working one that's completely finished. So there's your card, you'll open it up, and there your image will completely be displayed. You could also write something here and here. So that's the shutter card. So that is part 3. I will be back tomorrow with the next part of the album. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you. Bye.